has begun.
There's a new Street Fighter on your windowsill. The weapon is peace, the word is...
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest action figure video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Let's talk World War Hulk. Yes, World Breaker Hulk. This is the most widescreen of epic action-adventure stories in the mighty Marvel manner. So guys, before I start, if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then join the 6-1 clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe button. A small click for you is a big help for the channel. Ugh, God, that sounded so corporate, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, World War Hulk. I wanted to do this because this is a fun, throw all the toys in with each other and shake them up kind of story. And it sort of asks the question, what if the Hulk did just want to throw down with everyone and whoop ass in the Marvel Universe? The answer is, he pretty much can. So this story takes place at the end of Planet Hulk. So just to catch you up to speed, in case you're not familiar, Planet Hulk was when the Illuminati, this cabal of top-flight superheroes like Reed Richards, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, Professor X, Namor, the triple-A, like, world-changing type superheroes, they all decide, look, the Hulk is too dangerous. He's eventually going to do something terrible, even though he doesn't mean to. So what we're going to do is, we're going to trick him into getting into a spaceship, and then that's going to fly him to an unpopulated planet where he can just live out the rest of his days in peace. Hulk always says he wants to be left alone. Well, congratulations, Hulk. That's what we're going to do for you. This was during a time in the comics when, honestly, many of the heroes were being written as D-bags because the writers just wanted to craft not more interesting necessarily, but like different angles of stories. So you have like Civil War and stuff. It's largely Tony Stark. Tony Stark and Reed Richards are both pretty heelish throughout this time frame, and jettisoning the Hulk into space was one of the things that they did. Unfortunately, Hulk sort of starts smashing up the ship when he realizes that he's been double-crossed and bamboozled, and that knocks it off course and it lands on Sakaar, this war-like gladiator sort of planet, very much like we see in Thor Ragnarok. That's where they get the gladiator Hulk idea from. And Hulk crash lands there. Long story short, he overthrows the tyrannical people reigning over the planet, and he becomes the ruler of the planet. Super happy, everyone loves him. He's got this beautiful wife, and he's like, great, I'm set and sorted. Nothing can go wrong here. And then, this is the rub here. The ship that he crash landed in, his friends on the planet, his warbound, basically the other gladiators who he teamed up with to overthrow the rulers and take control of the planet, they say, hey Hulk, congratulations, that's awesome, oh my god, you're running the planet now, that's so cool. As a congratulatory sort of present, we've rebuilt that ship for you as like a trophy. We've put it back together. Here, look, it's the ship you first came in. And as soon as they power it on, they get a little recorded message from Reed Richards going, hey, if you're hearing this message, then I can only assume that Bruce Banner has taken control of the Hulk and been able to repair the ship. Unfortunately, we don't want you flying back to Earth, so the ship's going to self-destruct now. And when he says self-destruct, he probably didn't intend for it to go the way it did, because we are talking an atom bomb explosion that wipes out everyone the Hulk has loved. Whoops! That's what happens. So the Hulk is married, he has a family, he's finally found happiness and peace, and the heroes of the Marvel Universe murder them all. And of course, Hulk survives the explosion. His wife, who he cradles in his arms when the bomb goes off, evaporates in his hands. Can you understand how mad the Hulk's going to be at that? He's not going to take this well. And luckily, his warbound, his war party, they all survive as well. And he's like, okay, calming thoughts. Nope, that's not working. I'm going to kill everyone now. And that's what he does. He rounds up his warbound and he's like, we're going to go back to Earth and we are going to FS up. Fill in the blanks. So the Hulk comes back to Earth and his first port of call is the moon and Black Bolt. You see, Black Bolt was part of the Illuminati, and I guess that he threw in the vote to say, yep, let's send Hulk to space. So he has blood on his hands as far as the Hulk is concerned, and this is something I love. The Hulk lands on the moon, and he basically calls out Black Bolt. That's like knocking on someone's front door and being, step out onto your front yard, because I'm going to whoop your ass now. And what I love is that Black Bolt is so overpowered. He's so OP. Literally a whisper from his mouth can shatter mountains. So Black Bolt comes out with Medusa, and Medusa's like, okay, Hulk, it's cute you're here, but you don't really want none of this. My man can whoop your ass any day. Don't know why I did that voice, but there you go. And Black Bolt is like, no, sweetheart, I got this. He says this all with like his face, because obviously he can't talk or he'll shatter mountains. And Hulk's like, oh yeah, you don't know who you're dealing with, pal. And he throws down towards Black Bolt. And Black Bolt just, cool as a cat. He just whispers, enough. And that sends a shockwave throughout the moon, like just a huge atom bomb blast that should have just at least knocked the Hulk on his ass. And you know what happens? The Hulk says,
I didn't come here for a whisper. I came to hear you scream.
I was like, oh, your boy's in trouble now. And I thought that was great. I love it when a super powerful character just gets knocked down off their pedestal, and that is what happens here. So the Hulk almost murders Black Bolt. He's like, that's one. Time to continue to Earth, and I'll show them my first trophy as well. So the Hulk, still wanting to be like a hero, he sends a message to the people of New York in Times Square. Big holographic projection. And he's like, people of New York, what's up? It's been a while. I'm coming to Earth and I'm going to murder these heroes, okay? I've got my list. I'm checking it twice, and all these sumbitches are naughty, okay? So Tony Stark up at the top, Reed Richards, and the list goes on. He's like, I'm going to come and I'm going to bust some heads, all right? So you need to get out of New York now, okay? Okay? So he's trying to save civilian casualties. He doesn't want the people to get hurt. He just wants to wreck shop on the guys who he wants revenge on. So the people of New York start to evacuate. And that's where some of the smaller heroes like Spider-Man come into the fore. And they're helping with the evacuation and getting people out. But being New York, there are a lot of New Yorkers who are like, nah, I want to see how this plays out. So the Hulk lands and instantly he just calls out Tony Stark. He's like, I'm here for you. Bring it. Oh, by the way, here's Black Bolt. Is this yours? Yeah, I brought the trash for you. And of course, Tony Stark, he's ready for this. First of all, he's got to go to his A-game #1 weapon, which is the Sentry. Where is the Sentry? Bob Reynolds without his cape. There you go. He looks a bit naked without his cape. Bob Reynolds is the atom bomb of the superheroes. He's like the final, end of level boss. He's the last resort. That's what I'm trying to say. And the reason why he's the last resort is because he is almost immeasurably powerful. But the problem is that he is constantly fighting to keep the Void from taking over him. And the more power he expends, the more likely it is that the Void will take control of him and essentially destroy the world. So he's like, I want to fight the Hulk. I could probably beat him. But at the same time, if I do, I might then end up murdering everyone instead. So you're only going to have a bigger problem. So I have to sit this one out. So Bob's like, I want to help you, but trust me, for your own good, it's best that I don't. So Tony Stark, of course, he's got the Hulkbuster armor. It's fine. He's got this. He's the futurist, ladies and gentlemen. So he just Transformers, Optimus Primes, combiners himself up into this gigantic box of a Hulkbuster, and he's like, okay, I think I'm ready now. So Tony Stark just says, all right, Hulk, you want me? First of all, big I'm sorry. Is that gonna help? I am sorry. Nope. Okay, well, let's do this then. So Tony and the Hulk throwdown, and it's just like you would imagine. They are smashing the bejesus out of New York City, and it's an epic fight scene that John Romita? I always pronounce his name wrong, it's terrible. But either way, he pencils it incredibly. I love this artwork, and they are smashing through buildings, and the Sentry's watchtower on top of Avengers Tower, that gets smashed through and crashes to the ground. It's super epic. Very, very cool. But ultimately, of course, why would you expect anything else? The Hulk gets the better of Tony Stark and just knocks 7 bells out of him, and Tony is done for this portion. And we have different characters that try to reason with the Hulk and with his Warbound, and this is a huge, big, epic, multi-part crossover story. So there are the 5 issues of World War Hulk, but then there's all the tie-in ones that have other fights, and the Warbound are fighting other superheroes and all that kind of thing, but we're just sticking to the main story. So the Hulk then confronts, or is confronted by, Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, and she's like, look, Bruce, I know, I understand, you're angry, you're super King Kong, mega pissed off, but you gotta stop this now, okay? This is just too much. And of course, he's not having any of it, so they throw down, and boom! He's got no problem whooping his cousin's ass. He just smashes her into the floor. He's like, sorry, Jen, but this isn't Bruce. This is the World Breaker Hulk. Such a cool nickname. I might try that myself, the World Breaker of YouTube. The YouTube Breaker! I like that. Check soon for the t-shirt. But yeah, so he is now calling out these other heroes, and basically everyone has a go. It's classic British pub fight. He's like, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. And most people do. So the Fantastic Four, they step up because Reed Richards, he feels his responsibility as well. He knows that he is not entirely at fault, but kind of at fault. He certainly was not expecting the ship to explode like an atom bomb, but it is what it is, and he's there to kind of pay the piper, essentially. So we have the Hulk versus the Fantastic Four, and that's super cool as well. Gotta love those kinds of fights. And each member of the Fantastic Four, they kind of take their punishment, basically. The Hulk does not hold back in the slightest, even with the Fantastic Four members that he wouldn't directly blame, like Johnny, Sue, and The Thing. And you have a classic Hulk Thing fight, but the thing is, with the Hulk and the Thing, you've got these two guys, and we always have them throwing down with each other, but essentially, the Thing can never beat the Hulk. He can get a couple of licks in, but the Hulk is always going to win. And he does. The Thing goes down, and he goes down hard as well. Not as hard as Mr. Fantastic. It's an interesting kind of premise. You think, Mr. Fantastic is stretchy, he's rubber. How can you punch him into submission? Well, trust me. The Hulk figured it out. You just got to keep hitting it hard enough. Eventually it will break. So yeah, he just smashes Reed Richards' face into the pavement, and eventually he is done. And the Hulk's like, okay, well, that's that taken care of. But the good guys, although the idea of good guys is kind of subjective, they ain't done yet. We get Hulk's old enemy, General Ross. Not the Red Hulk or anything, but classic Thunderbolt Ross. And he turns up with all the military, all the helicopters and the tanks and the heavy artillery. And you think, well, that's not going to do anything against the Hulk. The Hulk destroys military equipment on his days off from kicking ass. But what it is a distraction. Because while the Hulk is smashing up all of this equipment and having all these fights, Doctor Strange, the guy that we haven't touched on yet, Doctor Strange enters the astral plane, and he goes into the Hulk's mind, and he's like, dude, we gotta talk, okay? You can't hurt me here. This is just astral stuff. You gotta calm down, all right? You gotta just take it down a notch. And Hulk's like, look, you know why I'm doing this, all right? You understand my rage. And Steven's like, hey, dude, I want to talk to Bruce, okay? Show me your real face. And I couldn't help but pathetically, immaturely laugh when Hulk says, referring to his wife, show me your real face. He says, that's what she said. I'm like, this is not the time for a that's what she said joke, Hulk. But either way, he returns to being Bruce Banner, and it's great because, again, Doctor Strange is one of those all-powerful type characters that you're like, go on, take him down a peg. And it looks like, Bruce is giving up and calming down, and Strange is like, it's okay. I've got you. And Bruce is like, yeah. And I've got you. And of course turns back into the Hulk and crushes Doctor Strange's hand. And he's like, ah! And of course I know you're wondering, but wait, this is the astral plane. How can Hulk hurt Strange in... Matrix rules, bitch! That's how I figure it happens, is that if you get hurt in the astral plane, if the person doing the punishment is powerful enough, then that will go into the real world. And that's exactly what happens. The Hulk just crushes Doctor Strange's hands. And then in the real world, I'm sure he's like, oh, not again. I just got these fixed. So Doctor Strange is effectively out of the equation as well. And all in the meantime, we're seeing people around the world watching this. We're seeing the Sentry watch this, and he's still like, it's not too dire yet. It's okay, I don't need to fight yet. And then things get worse, and he's like, it's still not that bad. And we see the White House. I think it must be Obama who was in office at the time. So we see like the silhouette of Obama, and he's like, this looks pretty bad. I think that the human race is in a lot of trouble. Certainly. I think America and the people, we could use the Sentry right now. That was my first time doing Obama. I think it was okay. So, the Doctor Strange is out. He's down, but he's not out, because this is another great little twist. Doctor Strange, and maybe it's a bit of hubris. Maybe he wants to do this to save the world, or maybe he's a little bit sore about the Hulk whooping his ass on the astral plane, and he's like, okay, I'm going to do something that I said that I was never going to do. I've got this little thing here, this little magical thing, which has like the most evil, demonic, evil magic type essence in it of this character who I don't really know because I don't read much Doctor Strange, but it's a bad thing. That is the personification of a bad person or whatever. And he takes a shot of it. I'm sure he smashes the glass afterwards, just like badass, And so he absorbs this evil, basically, because it's powerful. And he's like, I gotta beat the Hulk. So it's not Dormammu, but it's something like that. He absorbs this evil power, and he's like, oh, you wanna come say that to me again, Hulk? 'Cause I'm here. And they have another throwdown, and the Hulk beats him again. That's what I love. So Doctor Strange is like, wow, I just completely sold out. I let this evil entity take me over, and I still lost. And now the Hulk is like, well, I'm just whooping things now. I've got Tony Stark's done. Reed Richards is done. Black Bolt's done. Doctor Strange is done. It's time for the juicy part of the payback. What is it, Colonel?
Snake, I've been speaking with Otacon, and we need to change the mission parameters.
Run into something unexpected?
We need you to go to patreon.com/displaying model behavior and subscribe.
Patreon? Is that like Metal Gear?
No, but it does contain exclusive videos that only Patreon subscribers can see.
A real for your eyes only mission, huh? I'm logging in and subscribing now.
Snake, wait. Before you start watching the videos, you need to finish the original mission. Snake? Snake? Snake!
The Model Behavior Patreon. Kept you waiting, huh?
So, the Hulk commandeers Madison Square Garden. It's funny that in the last As Told by Toys, we were covering Madison Square Garden as well, when Carnage invaded there. So MSG gets a lot of action. And the Hulk turns Madison Square Garden into his own gladiatorial arena. And there are loads of civilians there. And this is interesting because this is at a time post-Civil War where people in general have just lost faith in heroes. Captain America is dead. So people are like, wow, there's no good guys anymore. And the people of New York represent this. And I think it was probably at the time an interesting sort of cultural analogy as well, where people are just like, there's no good or bad, it's just black and white, and we've lost faith in our heroes. So people are in Madison Square Garden and they're like an ECW audience. Like, F 'em up, Hulk, F 'em up. So the Hulk is organizing these gladiatorial matches between the heroes and some alien monsters that he brought with him, conveniently. I guess they were just like in the hold. And it's interesting because there are people in the crowd who actually have genuine grievances with some of the heroes. Like, I think there's the nephew of... Is it Bill Foster who was Goliath? Goliath was killed during Civil War because the clone of Thor that Reed Richards and Tony Stark made murdered him. And he's like, you guys made this Ragnarok clone of Thor that murdered my uncle. So, yeah, I want to see you get beaten up pretty bad. And it's interesting. So you get this whole dynamic. And the heroes fight the monsters, and then once they win that, Hulk's like, great, well done, very impressive, you beat the monsters, love it. Now you've got to fight each other. And they have all these like control collars on them, so they don't really have too much of a choice in the matter. So Reed starts fighting, I think, Steven, and it's the hero, or Reed and Tony, they start fighting. It's hero against hero. We just had that in Civil War, and now we've got it even more directly in a gladiatorial arena. But of course, at the end, Reed and Tony, they refuse to kill each other because they get that whole classic gladiator sort of moment where one's down and the Hulk is like, thumbs up, thumbs down, what are we going to do? And he's like, thumbs down. One of you is going to have to die, or all of you, or both of you, or whatever. And this whole time, I forgot to mention, Rick Jones, the Hulk's sort of human sidekick, he met up with the Hulk when the Hulk landed on Earth. And he's like, Hulk, you don't have to do this. Like, let me talk you down. And Hulk's like, stop trying to assume, all right, that we're friends, because a lot of water is under the bridge now, all right, Rick? But Rick stays with him as like his sort of conscience, his friend. I think maybe subconsciously the Hulk does want to have him around as a connection to humanity, even if he doesn't think that he wants it. So he keeps Rick with him, and Rick's a bit of a Jiminy Cricket type character. And then Rick is like, dude, you can't make them kill each other. And Hulk's like, well, the people have spoken. Because even the people in the arena are like, kill, kill, kill. Which, of course, begs the question, who is the real monster? It's, of course, the monsters. Duh. But that finally is enough to get Sentry to be like, all right, I gotta go and spring into action. So before this can go any further, the Sentry launches. Ooh, just bash my face there. Launches into Madison Square Garden, and he tears it up with the Hulk.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I've been chilling in my house, getting a little R&R. Took a bubble bath. Did I miss anything important? Oh. Oops.
And they are fighting, and it is just gigantic, epic, double-page destruction. I'm pretty sure Madison Square Garden gets destroyed, but they actually managed to cover the civilian casualties by showing Reed Richards and Tony Stark kind of sheltering people from rubble and all that kind of thing. And Sentry and the Hulk, they're mashing and just, they're monster mashing, essentially. And what finally happens, if memory serves and recalls correctly, the Sentry, let's face it, he has the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. And the Hulk has the power of infinite rage that only makes him stronger. And eventually, from the back and the forth, they just short-circuit each other. Because they both have their human counterparts, their weak, frail human counterparts. And just the energy, the power overloads in a huge big explosion. They both just pop, basically, and collapse as Bob Reynolds and Bruce Banner. So the all-powerful versions of them have just been expended. There's nothing left. And Bruce is finally in control, and he's like, wow, okay, what did I just do? It's the classic waking up after a bender and being like, oh boy, wait, I did what? And this is the final rub, which is, oh, it's so juicy. Meek. And you know who Meek is? Meek is one of the Hulk's Warbound, one of his buddies, one of his friends. Meek is a little cockroach type guy. He's actually in Thor Ragnarok. But Meek is like distraught. He's like, what? The Hulk? Where's Hulk? We're supposed to fight. We're supposed to kill everyone. We're supposed to be dominating. What? And so Meek, to try and get Bruce Banner to turn back into the Hulk, he's like, I need to enrage you more. Kills Rick Jones. Oh boy, was that a mistake. And of course, it's just killing in the Marvel sense. Rick walks it off later. But he stabs Rick Jones. And Hulk's like, well, Bruce is like, what are you doing? And Meek's like, you have to be the world breaker. That's why I killed everyone back on Sakaar. And Bruce is like, wait, what? And it turns out Meek was the one who made the ship explode like an atom bomb. He did that because he was afraid that the Hulk was going soft. So yeah, sure, maybe Reed Richards did program the ship to self-destruct, but he probably meant like a type self-destruct, not an atom bomb. That was Meek's doing, because Meek saw the Hulk was married, he had a wife, he had a family, he had happiness, and he was content. And Meek was like, no, we're warriors, we have to fight. So Meek murdered everyone that the Hulk loved. So of course, Bruce turns back into the Hulk and obliterates Meek. Like, just annihilates him, so he's just a blood smear on the asphalt. No one mourns him. But then he's like, he is just incensed. He is just so vibrating with rage. This is where the name World Breaker comes into effect. He realizes he can't contain and control his rage. He's like, I am literally going to break the planet just with this rage inside me. So the heroes finally use their last weapon, which is this sky laser contraption that Reed Richards and Tony Stark and, you know, all the big brains have put in place. It is essentially a doomsday weapon. And they're like, do it. And even Hulk, finally they're kind of on the same page as he's like, do it. Because I think he has that final moment of clarity where he's like, it wasn't the heroes that did this. I'm super mega pissed at them, but it wasn't their fault. I don't want to destroy the world. So he's like, do it. And they fire this laser and it literally like burns the Hulk out of existence, leaving just Bruce Banner collapsed on the ground, defeated, unconscious, finally done. The end of World War Hulk. The heroes lick their wounds, they put Bruce in stasis, and that is the end of one of the biggest title fights in all of Marvel. The Hulk versus everyone. And on the final page, we go back to Sakaar, and we see amidst the rubble and the wreckage and the ruin, a Hulk-like figure rising from the ashes. That is Scar, the son of Hulk. I'm not sure how that works with him being adult and all that kind of thing, but either way, the story's not over. Just as it is always in Marvel, it continues in different ways and shapes and forms. But oh my giddy lord, what a story World War Hulk was. Guys, what did you think of it? Comment below, let me know. Let me know all the things I got wrong, because I'm pretty sure I missed out some quite important details, but I had fun doing it. So guys, if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then join the 6-1 clicks by clicking the like, share and subscribe buttons. And if you want to go one step beyond in supporting the channel, you can do by going over to patreon.com/displaying model behavior. Just like these saviors of model behavior did, you can enjoy all the extra videos on there. We've got the Legends Legacy review, we've got all the live streams, all that good stuff can be yours for the low price of whatever tier it is. And I think that's about it. But before I go, I'm going to do a data blast. I haven't done one of these for months, but one of my very dear friends, VA Collector on Instagram, does amazing action figure photography. So I want to share that with you. That's coming up at the very end of this. So guys, thanks very much for watching. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Untitled Recording Studios production. Assault, recorded and rearranged.
Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest action figure video podcast. So take off your forget what I'm saying half the time. I don't care. I'm trying to do all the plugs right now. There, done. It's over. We're done. Move on. Let's start that again. That was desperate.